Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Bethany and this is my channel, Bethany Brings Books. I have wanted to start a channel for a while now, and I thought what better time to start one than during the month of May when we have a Christian fiction read-a-thon. Katie, I'm gonna get my notebook because I have got some things written down. Katie over at Paperbacks and Ponytails, she has a Christian fiction channel. She started a new Christian fiction read-a-thon this month, the month of May, and it is called, I think she's calling it the Christian Fiction-a-thon, I believe is what she decided to call it. And so I thought this would be a great month for me to go ahead and start a channel, and it would be really fun to join in. So here it is. I'm starting a channel and I'm super excited about it. I love to read. I read a lot of Christian fiction. I read a lot of missionary biographies, some nonfiction, especially. I read a lot of Christian nonfiction, some middle grade stuff. But anyway, I'm excited, and so I'm just going to go ahead and jump in on give y'all the prompts. There are 5 prompts, and I have selected 3 books using the 5 prompts. So that's my cat. Anyway, so the first prompt is a book with flowers on the cover. I'm sorry, I'll put a link in, and she has a name for each of these prompts, but I just wrote down the short versions. So a book with flowers on the cover, and what I chose was this book, and it is Bookshop by the Sea by Denise Hunter. And if you can see right here, there are flowers, such pretty flowers. What's cool is I actually have some of these. I can't remember what they're called, but I just bought some and planted them in pots. I love them, they're so gorgeous. I don't remember the name, but anyway, this has flowers on the cover, and it is I really enjoy Denise Hunter's books. I actually just finished up 2 books by her in a series last month. But anyway, so this is about, it says, after her mother became bedridden and her father bailed on the family, Sophie Lawson found herself serving as a second mother to her twin brother Seth and younger sister Jenna. She supported her siblings through their college years, putting aside her own dream of owning a bookshop in Piper's Cove, the quaint North Carolina beach town they frequented as children. Now it's finally time for Sophie to follow her own pursuits. Seth has a new job, and Jenna is set to marry her college beau. But the destination wedding reunites Sophie with best man Aiden Maddox, her high school sweetheart who left her without a backward glance. When an advancing hurricane strands Aiden in Piper's Cove after the wedding, he finds the hotel's booked to capacity and has to ask Sophie to put him up until the storm passes. As the two ride out the weather, old feelings rise to the surface. So I am looking forward to this one. A fun, beachy summer read. And I'm from North Carolina, so this book is set in North Carolina, which is super exciting. The second prompt is new blooms bring new authors, I think, is something along those lines. Anyway, a new to you author. And so I'm actually going to combine this to the next 2 prompts, the new author, and then number 3, I'm going to combine 2 and 3. Number 3 is May showers bring May murders, I think, something along those lines. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact prompt, but it's basically like a mystery, suspense, something along those lines. And so I decided to do both a new author and a mystery. This book that I saw at our local library, and it's called Drawing Fire. It is a cold case justice, and it is by Janice Cantor. She's a new to me author. I have actually had this from the library for a little while, and I've just had so many other things that I've been reading, but I did start on the first couple chapters and I really enjoyed it. It's actually by a retired Long Beach police officer, and she writes suspense now, so I thought that would be good because I'm really picky about my suspense. My favorite Christian suspense author is Terry Blackstock, and I've really been unable to find anyone who writes suspense, in my opinion, at her level. I'm super picky about it. But I thought, since this is written by a former police officer, I would think that it would be pretty accurate in the details, so I wanted to try it out. So anyway, it says, with a possible serial killer stalking elderly women in Long Beach, California, homicide detective Abby Hart's best lead is Luke Murphy, an irritating private investigator who saw a suspect flee the scene of the latest homicide. But as she works with the handsome PI to unravel the serial killer case, she must also confront the spark between them. When Abby discovers that the most recent victim is related to the governor, she's anxious to talk to him about a cold case that's personal to her, one Luke is interested in as well. As she learns more about the restaurant fire that took her parents' lives years ago, Abby discovers why Luke is so invested in finding the ones responsible. With everyone else telling her to walk away from this case, Abby and Luke search for evidence buried beneath years of deceit. And then the third prompt is spring cleaning. Read a book that's been on your TBR for 6 months or greater. And this book that I chose, I know has been on my TBR for at least right around 2 years. And I bought this book. It is called The Beautiful Ashes of Gomez. I guess I'm saying that right. And it is by Bookstorm. This is actually also another new to me author. I saw it on, I think it was christianbook.com, and it looks, just the name caught my eye. I kept seeing it over and over, The Beautiful Ashes of Gomez, and I was like, that sounds interesting. I've had it, I ordered it, and I just haven't. I have this really bad habit of picking up a book and reading like 2 chapters and then not finishing it. Not because I don't like it, but because I'm not in the mood and I want something else. I'm really bad for that, really bad. So, and that's what I did with this. I think I read like a first chapter and then just got interested in something else. Nothing at all about the book that I didn't like. I enjoyed it, but I'm totally a mood reader, like horribly. Anyway, this book has been on my TBR for a while and I'm really looking forward to reading it. When his wife Angel is killed in a head-on collision, Gomez feels he can't go on, so he doesn't. He spends his days in the bushes next to the crash site, drinking Thunderbird wine, cradling a coffee can full of Angel's ashes by night. Slow, sure suicide with no one for company but the snakes, Elvis's ghost, and a strange kid named Bones. Across town, Father Jake Morales plays it safe, haunted by memories of his broken engagement, hiding his guilt, loss, and love behind a thick wall of cassock and ritual. But now a shady business deal threatens the town, and his good friend Gomez, and Father Jake can no longer stand by and watch. He must act to save them all. But what happens when the rescuer is the one in need of saving? I'm looking forward to that one. So those are the 3 books that I chose. There's actually one more prompt, Spring Fever, which is to read a book with romance, like a romance book or a book with maybe a lot of romance in it. I forgot, I was also going to use Bookshop by the Sea, which obviously is a romance for that one. So that one's going to be 2 prompts. I'm so excited about joining YouTube and getting to interact with all of you guys. Also, there was a buddy read that the group is doing, Under the Tulip Tree by Michelle Shockley, which I have actually already read. I read that last year when it came out, right after it came out. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. So I'm not going to join in on that buddy read, but Michelle Shockley, she came out with another book that I had pre-ordered, so I might read that one. I'm not for sure, but instead of reading the buddy read, I might read that one just because I've already read the buddy read and this one sounds really interesting. So, it's Count the Nights by Stars. And it says, 1961, after a longtime resident of Nashville's historic Maxwell House Hotel suffers a debilitating stroke, Audrey Whitfield is tasked with cleaning out the reclusive woman's room. There she discovers an elaborate scrapbook filled with memorabilia from the Tennessee Centennial Exposition. Love notes on the backs of unmailed postcards inside capture Audrey's imagination with hints of a forbidden romance and troubling revelations about the disappearance of young women at the exposition. Audrey enlists the help of a handsome hotel guest as she tracks down clues and information about the mysterious Peaches and her regrets over one fateful day nearly 65 years earlier. And this is a dual timeline, I'm thinking, because now it says 1897. Outspoken and forward-thinking Priscilla Nichols isn't willing to settle for just any man. She's still holding out hope for love when she meets Luca Moretti on the eve of the Tennessee Centennial Exposition. Charmed by the Italian immigrant's boldness, Priscilla spends time exploring the wondrous sights of the expo with Luca until a darkness overshadows the months-long event. Haunted by a terrible truth, Priscilla and Luca are sent down separate paths as the night's stars fade into dawn. So this sounds so good to me, like really good. And I really enjoyed her last book. Her last book actually, it was fascinating. It was about this young lady in the 1930s who is given the task of going and interviewing former slaves. And so this is an actual project that took place in the 1930s as part of his like whole New Deal thing, trying to create jobs. One of the things that they did was they sent out writers to journalists and writers to these former slaves and wrote down their accounts of their life and their experiences during slavery for the sake of having that history written down. And so we see her go and interview different people, and primarily one main character. So we see flashbacks of her life, and then it goes back to the 1930s following the young lady. It's sad. Some of the things in it, sad, heartbreaking, frustrating, but also just a really fascinating read as far as the history that is contained in it. It really got me interested, and I actually one day I happened into my library, and they had, after I had read the book, they had on the shelf it was published by like a university or something, and it was true accounts of different slaves. And so I checked it out. It was like each chapter was a different account by a different slave, and it was actually by the Tennessee, some group in Tennessee, I cannot remember the name. They went and talked to former slaves. It was a hard read in the sense that reading about the things that were done was hard, but it was also just a fascinating insight into history and really opened your eyes up to the things that went on during the days of slavery in America. And anyway, that is the book, the last book I read by her, and so this one sounds super interesting, and I'm really looking forward to that. So those are the books that I am hoping to read for the Christian Fiction-a-thon. I have a few more books that I would like to share that I'm hoping to read in the month of May. These are some that I'm hoping to get to, and so let's see. So first of all is Anne of the Island. This is the third book in the Anne of Green Gables series. I have made a goal this year to read the whole series, and I have read the first two. I am looking forward to reading this. I've really been enjoying the series. I've loved Anne of Green Gables for as long as I can remember, since I was young, and I've had the series for a long time. So I'm super excited about reading the entire series. Then I also have this book. There are two people that I would consider my favorite historical fiction authors, both Christian fiction. That would be Elizabeth Camden and Joanna Davidson Politano. And this is Elizabeth Camden's newest release. It is called Written on the Wind, and isn't that cover gorgeous? So I've read the first one. This is the book 2 in the Blackstone Legacy, and I've read the first one. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Her books, she just has so much historic detail in her books, and she includes aspects of American history that I've never read or never heard. Just she finds these details and brings them to life in her books. They intrigue me. I love it. And so this one is about, it says Count Dmitry Sokolov has been charged with overseeing construction of the legendary Trans-Siberian Railway. But during this work, he witnesses an appalling crime, the truth of which threatens the Russian monarchy. In an effort to silence him, the Tsar has stripped Dmitry of his title, his lands, and his freedom. But Dmitry has one asset the Tsar knows nothing about: his deep and abiding friendship with Natalie Blackstone. Natalie is the lead analyst for her father's New York banking empire and manages their investment in the Trans-Siberian Railway. Her bond with Dmitry has flourished despite the miles between them. And when Dmitry goes unexpectedly missing, she sets the wheels in motion to find him. Once they join forces, they embark on a dangerous quest in which one wrong move could destroy them both. I am so ready to dive into. I am really looking forward to this. Super excited. And then the other book. This book is actually a true crime, which is a first for me. This is called Fatal Flaw by Phillip Finch. I was listening to a true crime podcast. I've been doing that a little bit lately, just trying to find things to listen to while I work around the house. So I came across this story about a man named Tommy Ziegler. He's been on death row for over 40 years. He was accused of killing his wife, her parents, and a customer in their furniture store in 1976. And so I came across the podcast, and they referenced me to another 10-part in-depth podcast on this story, and I just became so fascinated with it. It has really intrigued me, because a lot of people feel like he was innocent, and just from what I heard of the story, it caused me to feel the same way. And so I saw that this book had been published, or that this book had been written about the story, and this book is actually published the year I was born, which was 1992, so it's 30 years old, but it is an in-depth look at the story, and he's actually still fighting for his some of the evidence from the crime scene to be DNA tested, and still 40 years later he's still trying to get some of the stuff tested. It's really fascinating. If you haven't heard the story of Tommy Ziegler and the furniture store murders, I would definitely look it up and read about it. Those are the ones that I really definitely want to get read this month. Oh yeah, so also I'm going to try to be joining in on Chantel's. She's doing, her and a couple of other booktubers. I'll try to do all the links and stuff. But they are also hosting a short story read-a-thon this month, so I am going to try to be joining in on that. I don't know what I'm going to read for sure yet. So, looking forward to joining in on that. I was really not exposed to a lot of short stories until college, and I really read some fascinating ones in college, and so I am looking forward to that. Anyway, thank y'all for joining. I hope you like my video and subscribe. I'm hoping to have new content coming out regularly. I don't have a schedule yet, but I am, I'm still trying to get everything together and plan everything. But anyway, thank y'all again. My name is Bethany, and thanks for watching.